Okay, we're going to continue with the surface area of prisms, and you'll see here we've got one that is a triangular prism. Okay, and I told you last time that I would prefer, rather than come up with a formula, what we're going to do is try to figure out this by looking at the different sides. So looking at this triangular prism, you can see first of all that the front of it is a triangle. Now, it doesn't tell us this, but because we need it for what we're going to be doing, I'm going to assume those two sides are the same. Otherwise, really, we couldn't do this. There's not enough information given. Okay, so what does that triangle look like? Well, let's draw it here. We've got a triangle. And it tells me the base is 6 right here. It tells me the height is 4. Is that enough to find the area of the triangle? Yep, because area is base times height divided by 2, which is 6 times 4 divided by 2, which is 12. And it doesn't give us a unit, so we'll just put units squared. Okay. What's the next shape? Well, maybe we should look at the base. The base has a length and a width. If you look at that shape right there, you visualize turning it over, what kind of shape do you have? Well, it actually turns out to be a big rectangle. And it tells me that the base is 6 and the length is 8. So the area is 6 times 8, which is 48. Again, units squared. Did I write squared on the other one? Yeah, I did. Okay, let's go back up here and look at the next face. This face right here. Okay, it has a side and it gives us S, so I don't know what that side is. The length is 8. Again, you've got a big rectangle there. Now it tells us this is 8, but we don't know what the slant height is. That's what the S stands for. Well, if I draw this triangle in right here, let's take a look at that triangle right here. I know that the base, well, the whole base was 6. So half of it's going to be 3. How do I know it's half? Well, if these two sides are the same right here and right here, this is going to be an isosceles triangle. So these are going to be two identical halves. So the base is 3 and the height is 4. What is S? Well, if you remember back to Pythagoras, good old Pythagoras, a squared plus b squared is c squared. So 9 plus 16 is s squared, 25 is s squared, and if I take the square root, s is 5. So there's my missing measurement. I can now find the area, 8 times 5, which is 40 units squared. Alright, we now have the measurements of all the sides, so I can calculate the surface area. Well, if you think about it, we've got two triangles. So I'm going to go 12 plus 12. We've got the big base, which is 48. And we've got two identical sides, which are 40 each. And if we add this all up, we get 24, 64, 72, plus 80 is 152 units squared. There's the surface area of a triangular prism. Alright, I think I'm going to leave that one for you to try for right now. Let's go down to the cylinder. Now the cylinder is a little different. This might be one place where I might actually use the formula. Okay. The good news is, though, if you ever forget what this formula is, it should make sense to you. What is this? 2 pi, oh, there's a little r missing there. 2 pi r squared. Well, pi r squared is the circle. Each circle is pi r squared. And if you see, there is one circle right up here, and then there would be another circle on the bottom. Alright? And then, where does that second part of the formula come from? 2 pi rh. Well, this is the side of the cylinder. It's actually a rectangle. Well, let's take a look at where that comes from. Let's go down here and look at a cylinder. You can see as a cylinder sort of unravels itself, the sides actually form a rectangle. And if you look at the rectangle, what are the dimensions? Well, the height of the rectangle is the height of the cylinder. The length of the rectangle, that's the circumference of the circle. So this is the height, and this is the circumference of the circle. And the circumference of the circle is 2 pi r. So looking back at this formula, there's where you get the 2 pi r, and then there's where you get the h. Okay, so let's find the surface area of this cylinder. Well, we're going to have two circles. 2 times pi times radius. Well, if the diameter is 20, the radius is 10, right? Radius is half a diameter. So 2 pi radius squared, those are your two circles, plus 2 pi radius, that's the circumference of the circle, times the height. The height is 12. Okay, I'm going to show you this answer in two ways. I'm going to show you the calculator way, and then I'll show you the, we'll call it the exact value way, the pre-cal way, the way that we use where there is an exact answer. Let me show you what that means. So I'm going to multiply this, 10 squared, that's 100 times 2, so 200 pi, this is 200 times pi, plus 2 times 10 is 20, times 12 is 240, 240 pi. If I add 200 pi plus 240 pi, I get 440 pi. This is what we call the exact answer. Why is it exact? Well, pi, if you remember, is an irrational number. It's a decimal representation that goes on forever. So the second you write down an answer, and let's try writing down an answer, we'll go 440 times pi, so you get 440 times pi. That equals 1,382.3 centimeters squared. Now you see those answers are actually the same, except that this one has been rounded off. So we'll call this the pre-cal way. This is how you would be expected to answer in pre-cal, and this is totally acceptable, but it is rounded off. Okay? So there's how to find the surface area of a triangular prism and a cylinder.